Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piorski, coming to you live from the East Coast. It's the coast with the most from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. Two-way views, conservative news, and do you know what day today is, Craig? Do you know what day today is?
It's Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos, yum, 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 yummity yum. It's like a treat.
Ooh, how can you not love that theme music?
What a great song! What a great song! Do you have your dinner plans yet tonight? I know we have not eaten dinner yet here on the East Coast, but it's definitely tacos tonight.
Oh, definitely tacos. We're actually going to be doing fish tacos again. This time, we're going to be doing a little bit of experimenting because my son-in-law had some flounder he wanted to try and see how that would do in terms of a fish taco. I don't know if he's going to fry it, like do it like a deep fried, or if he's just gonna chop it up and saute it. So we shall see, and I'll let you know how it goes.
There you go. Flounder, some good fish right there. That'll give you nice and flavor.
It's very fishy though. That's my experience with flounders. Is very fishy. So if you don't like the fishy flavor, it may not be for you. But I happen to like it.
I've not had that experience with flounder before. Maybe it's some kind of weird West Coast thing.
Maybe it's West Coast flounder.
Yeah, East Coast flounder. It's a white fish that takes on the flavor of everything you cook with it.
Ah, interesting. Yeah. Well, once again, we shall see. All the while, the tacos will be a-flowing.
Yeah. It could be you're at the second day flounder stand buying your flounder too. That could be it. So
who knows? In any case, all right. Let's get into the program real quick because we got a lot to talk about. Seeing as how all of the joy from the Democratic convention yesterday is just oozing into today's program, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking about it. But before we get into it, we got to do what we got to do, and you know where that starts. It starts with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
That's right. Let's say hi to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. If you got that AR in the past 5 years, you probably got one of their barrels. Don't even know it. Now you can buy from them factory direct for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. You want the best of concealed holsters on the market? Get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWGholsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you're looking for field gear, outdoor gear, hunting gear, web gear, survival gear, you can get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. Please take a moment. Visit them by following the link in the description to this program. You go to the website, check them out. Like what you see, spend some money with them. And then make sure to tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also want to encourage you, if you haven't already done so, please make sure like, share, subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. However you are partaking of the program, whether you're just listening to one of the podcasts or, maybe you're watching us and you're watching us live, make sure folks know this is the place to be in order to have good conversations about politics and policy. And if you're watching us live, by the way, that's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, on Facebook, on Rumble. Please do us a favor, comment, let us know what you think. And if we like what you have to say, we will share your comments online. Well, even if we don't like it, if we find it interesting, we'll share it. In any case, share.
Sharon.
Now, Mike, before we get into this, I will ask, did you have a chance to either watch any of the convention yesterday or watch any of the highlight videos? or low light videos per se.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. And I purposely didn't because you said you were going to have some video clips today. That way I could give you live reactions.
Well, I will tell you, they're pretty much of the video stuff. I just got to tell you, there really wasn't a whole lot there that is really worthy of replaying. The one thing that I did want to note was the fact checking. I was shocked because I'll be honest with you, I had absolutely no faith in mainstream media. I had no belief that they would actually fact check this convention. Like they did day one, like the entire news feed. If you went to Google News, the entire news feed, was all fact checking Republicans. This time, if you just go and look at the news feed, wasn't a lot of fact checking. But if you did type in DNC day one fact checking, a bunch of things came up. Even liberal media outlets, right? Even they decided that they were going to get in on the fact checking. One that, once again, I anticipated would not be into it at all was CNN. And the interesting part about it is most of these folks, they rated day one. And when I say rated day one, if you look at the things that they fact checked, either mostly false or misleading. And I'll pull out a few here from CNN and then we'll go on to some of the other sources. So CNN, you have Biden on taxing billionaires. He says here, during his speech, he says, we have thousands of billionaires in America. You know what the average tax rate they pay? 8.2%, Biden said. Biden used this figure in a way that was misleading. As in previous remarks, including his State of the Union address in March, Biden didn't explain that the figure is the product of alternative calculation, meaning he lied. But once again, they give him mostly misleading. Biden on carbon emissions. And what did they say? He says he's cutting carbon emissions in half by 2030. Independent analysis shows the U.S. is off track to meet ambitious goal Biden set early in his administration, slashing carbon emissions in half by 2030. Meaning, no, we're nowhere near our goal on that. Biden claims about removing lead pipes. Once again, this claim needs context, meaning no, they didn't. But we're going to try and explain it away. Biden, then here's another one. Biden's claim about trade ignores widening deficit under his presidency. So while we're doing better, we're not doing as good as he thought. Here's Breitbart. Biden uses very fine people hoax in DNC farewell speech. Yeah, we kind of knew that. Here's even CBS. Once again, fact checking him. Fact check on Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor. Oh, I'm sorry. They did not just fact check him. They fact checked other people. Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez claimed that Trump promises to terminate the Affordable Care Act. Details in 2016, former President Trump promised to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. No, that has once again been deemed false. Fact check. Robert Garcia's claim that Trump told us to inject bleach. Once again, we know that that is false, and they deem and point out that that in fact was false. Fact check Majority Whip Dick Durbin's claim that the U.S. economy added 16 million jobs. Now, this one they said they needed context. The context being that they erased 13 million jobs, or Democrat governors reduced 13 million jobs. Here you have Breitbart once again fact-checking Raphael Warnock, claims that red states passing voter suppression laws. Yeah, except that more people of color voted afterwards than before. And here PBS even did live fact-checking, so they were checking it from the very thing. Biden mostly false claim about Trump wanting Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security cuts. What should we know about suckers and losers? What we know, in other words, they can't prove that he was right or wrong that Trump said what Biden said he said. And then Biden criticizes Trump remarks on democracy in the election. Pretty much, Mike, it was a bunch of lies. And like I said, I pretty much rated day one, as I think most of them did, as mostly false.
Yeah, no surprises, right? What would be neat, Craig, is if we had, during the DNC, we had to swear them all in, right? Get them up on stage and swear them all in, and the opposition could be there and they could object every time that there's a lie. Objection. That's a bold-faced lie. And then they take it to the court real quick, and you got the Supreme Court sitting off on the side, or at least one of them, right? And they go, well, the facts are that is a lie. We could do a little, little gotcha, a little Maury Povich style. We could do it all right there. Make the DNC worth watching again.
Well, yeah. And it was two things. And this is what really gets me is that the two biggest themes were historic and joy.
Oh.
It's like,
really?
This, don't you know that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are bringing joy back to politics because they're not name calling. They're not negative campaigning at all.
You have all the things, all the adjectives, all the adverbs, everything I can think of that I would like in my administration. A joy is a word that's never gone into it.
Joy is not even, it's not even in the top 10. I don't get my joy from my government.
Joy. Oh, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy.
I'll bet you Willie Brown knows something about Kamala Harris sharing joy.
Oh, hey.
Look, I'm sorry. They went there with the whole joy thing. I had to throw that one in. That was just a must.
There you go.
It may be below the belt, but you know what? I also was not the one.
It was for Willie.
I wasn't the one pushing this in the media.
You are going to see excitement and you are going to see joy.
From what we are seeing, Kamala Harris makes people feel good.
They have to be apostles of joy.
There's the joy.
And I think we see more hope, more joy.
But you're seeing these crowds all over America turning out for the vice president.
And it has undoubtedly injected supporters with excitement, with hope.
Energy and joy.
It gives you joy.
Apostles of joy.
And all of the joy and the excitement and the celebration.
The positive vibes as we keep talking about it with this convention.
I have never seen something like what we're seeing going on. The excitement, the joy, the happiness.
Look at the crowds. You look at the unity and enthusiasm in my party, which we didn't have 35, 40 days ago, to be honest.
A moment of tremendous joy.
The word I hear more is the word joy.
They are just overcome with joy at this condition of their party.
The joy is real. The camaraderie is real.
There's a huge amount of excitement, hope, and optimism.
In Chicago, it is a celebration. It is a party.
You know what, Mike, what gets me about this whole thing is, you notice they don't point a single camera outside where people are literally protesting in the streets because there are Democrats who would dare to, I don't know, support the Jews from trying to be exterminated.
Well, Craig, maybe those protesters enjoy what they're doing and they have joy. So, maybe they should have shown them.
They have joy. There you go.
Yeah.
But Mike, let's
like
be real, man. This is about distracting. This is about, and the worst part is, like I said, the media is playing into it. They're literally giving the Democrats everything that they want because nobody's talking about policy. Nobody's talking about the fact that she won't do any interviews, that she won't talk about her policy. Nobody's talking about the fact that they literally stole the nomination away from Joe Biden, that the former president called him on the phone and said, dude, we're going to 25th Amendment you if you don't step out. If you don't quit this race, you will be removed by the 25th Amendment. You will be known forever as the dude who lost the election to Donald Trump. Nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, there's already a dude that lost the election to Donald Trump. That's Hillary Clinton. So,
well, she spoke last night too, and talk about trotting out talk about being unburdened by what has been. How can you be unburdened by what has been, and you bring out what has been to speak on night one of the convention?
I bet that was joy. That was probably joy.
Well, the interesting thing though, Mike, also is normally the sitting president would speak on the second night of the convention. So normally tomorrow night would have been the night that Joe Biden would have come out and spoken because The first night, generally, nobody really watches. That's kind of the night where the unity night where all of the former candidates come out and speak, the people who dropped out of the race or the people who were considered but never couldn't get enough traction.
Yeah.
And then the second night would be the former president. Well, they don't want Joe Biden speaking the second night. They want Barack Obama speaking the second night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, got to have Barry in there. Bring some more joy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I will tell you this, and this is my prediction. Kamala Harris has gotten all of the votes, all of the numbers she's going to get. She has plateaued. Her numbers are not going to get any better. In fact, they're going to get worse after the convention because she's not going to be able to hide anymore. She's going to have to start answering some questions. And the very fact that her initial rollout of a policy went as bad as it did just goes to show you that she ain't ready.
I mean, they loved it in Beijing and in Moscow, but, not so much anywhere else.
Not so much anywhere else. Definitely not so much anywhere else. So if you look at it, Mike, Harris has definitely taken a hit in the polls, in particular in swing state polls. One in particular that I'm talking about is the one there in Pennsylvania. She actually comes out and it's, according to Newsweek, has taken a triple hit in that state's polls. It says here, Vice President Kamala Harris has suffered a triple blow after two recently released surveys put her behind Donald Trump in the key swing state of Pennsylvania, while a third showed her trailing the Republican presidential candidate at the national level. Polls of likely voters in Pennsylvania conducted by Signal and Emerson College both gave Trump a 1-point lead in the battleground state, which comes with 19 electoral college votes. Separately, a Neapolitan news service survey gave the former president a 1-point advantage nationally. Now, you would think, Mike, she's on that sugar high right now, right?
Yes.
And the convention is not going to help her. So unless she does something really, really cool after this convention, something really, out there and transformational, or Donald Trump does something really, really stupid, that Donald Trump's numbers are only going to rise.
Yeah, and again, we see, folks, you see this all the time. Every time there's a convention, they get a little bump up. And then at the end of the convention, they get the bump down. Well, she's taking the bump down at the beginning of the election, or excuse me, the beginning of the convention, and that's only going to continue to slide. Craig, though, I did hear from the camp, though, they said she actually didn't have a problem with the triple blow.
Bum.
That's how she got to be vice president, I think.
Family show. To a degree, a family show. I just, first of all, understand that her candidacy right now is completely a fictional tale being told by the media and the DNC and her teleprompter. She's eventually going to have to answer questions. She is eventually going to have to present some policies. And when she does, it's going to go all bad for her, just like the same way. I mean, Mike, even CNN and MSNBC were like, yeah, no, price controls. No, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good one. Well, when's the first debate? Is it on the 10th or the 20th of September?
It's supposed to be the 10th.
So we got 3 weeks. She's got to come up with some actual answers between now and then. Otherwise, you're gonna watch a lot more of the whole, the yellow bus stories,
Well, and there's no guarantee there'll be a debate after that because she has pretty much said, look, I'm only agreeing to do if he shows up on the 10th, then we can talk about another debate. My thing is that she is going to be so beat up. And Donald Trump is going to do such a good job of presenting the facts, although he'll probably exaggerate a little bit. So the mainstream media will call him a liar and she'll say, I'm not going to debate again because he's just going to lie. That's exactly how that's going to go.
Yeah, but that's all right because it's going to come out in his favor because, again, she's going to be refusing to answer questions when he's putting out his facts.
And he's got to point that out. He's got to say, she didn't answer the question.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
He's the one guy who can get up there and accuse a black woman of not being smart and possibly get away with it.
Yes. Yeah.
Because people expect it from. I mean, one of the things, and I was doing an interview earlier today, and one of the things the guy brought up, he said, look, he's a New Yorker. New Yorkers are known for being brash and just kind of matter of fact. And sometimes rude. He's like, that's New Yorkers. And so what other people can't do, what other people can't say, Donald Trump can get away with. The people who are still considering voting for him will not change their mind because he said something mean to Kamala. And then he was right. I was like, I got to agree with him.
Oh, sure. That guy you listen to. How many times do I say on here, he's not rude. That's just how we say hello to people in New York. And when he's talking somebody down, that's how we talk in traffic to people. It's just the way it is. It's just the way New Yorkers are.
It was one of those, but when he said it, I was like, damn, okay. It's kind of like, Mike, sometimes when you say stuff, it's kind of like when my wife talks. It's like, wah, 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 wah. See, the problem is you're full of crap 50% of the time. I just never know which 50% it is.
And then yet you and I sit here how many times ago, oh, Mike was right again. Mike was right again.
Well, that's only because I don't sit up here and point out when you were wrong.
I was checking on that. Hold on. What's that? No, they said never. Yeah, they say never. Yeah.
As he speaks to his imaginary producer.
I get the producer. Hold on. And now your wife's texting
good stuff.
Me,
but yeah, no, it's I don't think there is a Donald Trump is kind of, to me, reminds me, he's the Steph Curry of politics. You know how Steph Curry came in and completely changed the game of basketball? Well, that's what this guy does. Donald Trump has completely changed the game of politics. Now, the problem is this, and this is what concerns me about the Republican Party post-Donald Trump. The only person that can get away with being Donald Trump is Donald Trump. And I've seen other people try to be Donald Trump, and they fail miserably at it. They don't get to be that. Donald Trump gets to be Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen others try, and they come off as mean, whereas, Donald Trump, braggadocious, I guess is the right word,
Yes. Once again, braggadocious and puffery are two of the terms that I think accurately describe his communication style.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he gets away with it.
Because he's from New York, and that's how we talk to people from New York.
Anyway, if nothing else, I can honestly say this has been the most entertaining presidential campaign of my lifetime. Entertaining.
Right. Okay.
So
I don't know.
Makes for good
Reagan
TV.
Mondale was pretty fun. Reagan Mondale was pretty fun.
So we've talked about this before about Mr. Walz being the liberal left-wing I was about to say neo-Marxist, and I'm almost about to say neo-Nazi gift that keeps on giving. And this one right here is a real doozy, and this is his policy. You might be familiar with the Born Alive Act. A number of states have passed this. Barack Obama voted against it in Chicago and never really was held accountable for it. But Tim Walz actually signed a bill that overturned Minnesota's policy, which basically says this: if a child is born, if someone attempted to abort their child, and that child is actually born alive, meaning it's alive, then you are then obligated to at least try and provide some sort of life-saving measures, take life-saving measures. Because instead what was happening was that if the abortion was born alive, in cases they were basically letting that child die, not doing anything to save that child. And here's a legislator there in Minnesota basically saying Well, no, that never happens. This is all just a fallacy.
And it's being now pushed even more states around the country. And by the way, I think Montana just turned down a similar law. But it's based on a false idea. The really false idea that people pregnant wait until late in pregnancy to have an abortion without any real good reason. That it's sort of a frivolous thing, that people carry pregnancies until late and then sort of for no good reason decide that they want to terminate the pregnancy. And that's just plain old false. So these laws that were passed really, I would say, to make abortion more difficult and more expensive, and to demonize doctors, to give the false impression that anyone delivers a child alive and then just lets it die. That just doesn't happen. That's not how abortion care works. And if you look—
So this is a report out of the Dispatch that says claims about children born alive after abortion attempts in Minnesota are true. The state recorded 8 deaths among infants who survived abortion attempts during Tim Walz's tenure as governor. That's him signing the bill. It says here, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's progressive policy achievements in Minnesota have faced scrutiny since Vice President Kamala Harris chose him as her running mate. Some social conservatives in particular have claimed his positions on law and order, gender identity, and abortion are far outside of the national mainstream. Last week, right-wing commentator Charlie Kirk claimed in an X post with more than 1 million views, and which he shared on Instagram, that during Walz's governorship, 8 infants were born alive during botched abortions, end quote, in Minnesota. None of them received any care attempting to save their lives, and most of them didn't receive basic comfort either, Kirk added. In the post, Kirk cites August 6th article by John Solomon for Just the News. Solomon's piece explains that the Minnesota Department of Health, which at the time was required to report all cases of living fetuses delivered during an abortion procedure, recorded 8 such instances between January 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2022. Solomon claims that Walz worked with his new Democrat-controlled legislature to eliminate both the reporting requirement and the state's legal obligation for doctors and nurses and medical professionals to administer life-saving care to infants born alive during an abortion procedure. Now, you know, regardless of how you feel about abortion, and I think we've made it clear how we feel about it, these are children who are born. They survived their abortion. And for them to say that this doesn't happen, well, here's 8 instances of it happening. And for a group of people who say, if we can ban guns because if it saves just one life, well, here's 8 lives that could have potentially been saved. And these babies were allowed to die. And from what we understand from the report, they could have suffered.
Yeah, yes. And no comfort given, no care given, just, have put it over there in a corner and let it die. Is what it's if they didn't do something else to expedite that process, who knows what really happened. But it happened. It's happened. It's right there. You go. There's your proof. There's your evidence. Tell me again, Governor Walz, how it doesn't happen.
And once again, this goes back to how extreme is he? I mean, this is the guy who's supposed to be representing the Midwest values, right? He's the guy who's going to resonate with the Midwestern folk. And, whatever happened to, mind your own damn business. Well, why is the government, these are babies who are dying. We're not talking about a fetus. We're talking about a baby. This is now a child that is alive.
Yes.
And you don't want to protect it?
Well, I'm sure they would reason it away, Craig. Oh, it wasn't full term, so it's technically not a child yet. What? It's living and breathing outside the womb. That's a child.
That makes it a child. Last I checked. Anyway.
Yep.
But once again, just another example of how extreme this ticket is. And keep in mind, he is as extreme, if not more extreme, than the presidential nominee, who, as we know from her economic policies, is a Marxist. To say it.
You know, we don't know if she's extreme or more extreme because she won't tell us what her policies are. Besides, communism, price controls.
There you go. All right, folks. Well, that brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. Get your Hog Holster on discount today. All right, today we're going to take it from the Babylon Bee, and we're going to do 9 biggest DNC moments to look forward to, as noted by the Babylon Bee. Let's see here. Number 1, the ceremonial lighting of a police precinct by Tim Walz and his wife. That's a time-honored Democratic tradition right there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, in Minnesota. Yeah.
All right. Number 2, 3-hour workshop on how to pronounce Kamala.
Kamala.
Yeah, Kamala would be wrong. It's not Kamala. I mean, it's not Kamala. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. Kamala.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. No.
Oh, don't forget the sacrifice to Moloch, the god of the DNC, demands innocent blood. So there will be a human sacrifice. That's probably why you have mobile abortion ban going around to the DNC where you can get your mobile abortions.
There you go.
Kamala's dramatic first appearance by falling out of a coconut tree.
Cuckoo.
No?
Cuckoo.
She's going to fall out of a coconut tree. Okay. Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar narrating a special tribute to the brave Hamas paragliders of October 7th.
Yeah, probably so.
Their heroism will never be forgotten. Chuck Schumer serving delegates delicious raw cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I guess you had to see the thing to appreciate that one.
Right.
Tampon cannon. Staffers dressed as abortion pills will fire tampons into the audience.
Yeah, and listen, because they hate guns so much, it's actually going to be based on carbon emissions that shoots them out. Yeah.
AOC tragically dying once again at the mention of January 6th. She died so many times already because, well, MAGA. And then number 9, DNC leaders wondering if there's still time to change candidates again.
I told you that was going to happen. Nobody wants to believe me.
Well, we'll see what happens after her speech.
Yep.
She's come pretty close to ruining it by actually, talking about policy.
Yeah. Then they waved her off. Wave off. Don't go there.
wave off.
She does the duck, dive, dip, dodge, and duck thing,
Dip, dodge, and duck thing. All righty then. Well, folks, that's about it for today's program. But before we go, we got to do what we do, and that is give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
That's right. Say hello to our friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. You can get rifle and pistol caliber barrels in any length you desire for your next AR rifle build or current rifle replatforming. Do whatever you want to do with them. Get some barrels. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, you can get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
All right, folks, that's going to be it for today's program. We'll be back tomorrow on Hump Day. We'll have a good time. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and if you get a chance, make sure to send a few downrange. Till then, holla!